to take you through what Hermes agent is, right? I'm just going to talk to Claude. We'll go through it together because there's a lot of things here, and sometimes I just like to do things before like exploring all of it. So for example, there's so much documentation. I just went ahead and was like, you know what? Let me just install it. Let's see what it is, right? So pretty much I told Claude to install Hermes for me. I went into the folder, started a Claude Code session, told me to spin it up and everything like that, right? So we're left with, or we got this little local session. So I like this little infographics and this background and everything. It's not bad, but it's a little hard to see. I don't know if I'd stick with it. But let's see what we got. Sessions. I'm guessing these are all your connected sessions. Right now, I think it's connected to Claude, and it says 27 days ago. So I don't know how this is authenticated. I gotta check if it's. We got models. I think Claude did a thing where you cannot use. You have to use Claude API. You cannot connect your Claude session to it, like your actual Claude online. Or before you can like just 2FA. I mean, sorry, you can just OAuth into your account. But I don't think you can do that anymore. You need to use the API key, and the reason I think they're doing that is just to limit third-party access to their Claude tool, and then plus I think they make more money if they use their API. It's all token-based, right? So the models, you can change the model here. I think you pick up any of these. It's connected to Claude, so it's coming up with these right now. You got GitHub, Copilot. I don't know how it's connected to. I think I connected Copilot. It has all these, but you can connect Gemini, Kimi, all that kind of good stuff. We got our logs. We got cron jobs. Cron jobs are just scheduled tasks, right? So I'm guessing if I hit create, I can just give it a schedule, run like every day at 9 a.m. skills. So already has all these skills installed, plugins. Profiles, config, profiles, you can have different profiles, different environments, .env files, config, I guess you can change a bunch of this stuff around, keys, my API key, right, this is how my Claude is connected, Claude Code, credentials, interesting, OpenAI you can connect, it's got Qwen, Minimax, and I guess over here you can go ahead and connect like Gemini. You need to go ahead and get your Gemini keys. You need to go ahead and get your OpenAI, Kimi, all that kind of stuff, right? It does show you in documentation. So let's try to tell Claude to give me an example. Also, I was building like a social media curator, which is a kind of a cool thing that I wanted to do. And I asked it the best way that it wants to connect to Hermes agent, so I can just kind of have the same unified dashboard for all of this. So we have pretty much a approach where call the tool and have a UI too. So your vision builds two different capabilities. Hermes treats them separate, orthogonal extension points, and a single plugin can provide. Agent called where Hermes, the LLM, can invoke your tool mid-conversation, pull Hermosi's last 10 videos, a UI panel, dedicated tab, and Hermes dashboard. This matters because MCP only gives you one. MCP serves registers tools the agent can call, but they cannot add a dashboard tab. So we ended up creating a tool for this, right? Standardize on native Hermes plugins as your personal tool framework. Alright, so we read all this. So essentially what it did was it told me it created this Hermes agent tool. The dashboard tab, Niagara API key. Go and build. While this is building out, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start another Claude session in my terminal or in my folder. So if I go into my Hermes agent, it has all these files, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just hit open internal. If you hit Claude and then you type in the permission mode to auto, it won't ask you those annoying little prompts every 2 seconds where it's like, hey, do you approve, right? It really does slow down your workflow. Obviously, you got to be careful with this, but if you hit auto, it should just start a Claude session within this. And over here, make sure that if you are just asking a simple question, you don't need to set the effort really high. So I'm going to go ahead and do medium, and I might change my models to, what do I change my model to? Let's switch it to Sonnet. All right, we don't need to, and then I just want to ask it questions. So I'm just asking questions, so it doesn't need to do extensive, heavy work, right? Okay, so I installed Hermes on the computer, and I know Hermes is like a really smart agent and does a really good job of memory management. That's the big advantage with it. It has this crazy, like, nice little UI interface. Can you explain to me what the difference of Hermes really is and all the tools and everything that's already preloaded that we have? There's a lot. Can you go through it pretty simply, easy, step by step, so I understand, like, I'm new to technology, and then also kind of just explain to me, like, if what each step is, the advantages of it, what's the best way to use it, but also, like, if I was going to create my own, um, what makes Hermes so much more special, right? Why is everybody trying to use this? Can't we create our own? And then also, like, connecting, can we use Claude and connect it via OAuth in here, or do we have to use the API tokens? Is it a better way to do this? Because that's a huge thing for me, right? I want to use the Claude API, but just kind of explain all of these things to me, and then create a nice little .html file, and I want to be able to consume it and go through each step and understand, like, what's going on. Like, for the most part, for my understanding, obviously you have sessions. Sessions are all the different LLMs that you might have connected to Gemini and all that. It should be able to pull all those things in, right? Correct. Models, again, it's all the different models that you have. Logs, simple enough. All the logs. That's the cron jobs are pretty much scheduled tasks. Skills, does it already have, like, preloaded, like, 100 skills? Like, I see a lot of these skills are already toggled on. We have like 20 for creative, data science, all these kind of things. How do we best take advantage of these skills? Plugins, there's a lot in the plugins here. Profiles, I'm guessing just different profiles you can use if you're working on different projects. Config, there's a lot here in config as well. Keys, I'm guessing all your .env keys for all the different LLMs and agents. Documentation, we have a Kanban board for, I'm guessing, if we assign a task. And if we do assign a task, does that mean that the agent is auto and able to, like, kind of finish the task that you put in to do and whatever and stuff? And yeah, just kind of explain all of these things. Also, how do we change the theme for Hermes to, actually, yeah, I think, yeah, those are the things. Just kind of explain that to me and make it easy for me to understand a .html file. So that's all it really takes, right, for you guys to understand, for you to understand any concept with AI, right? Try to make it in a consumable, easy way for you to understand. So a .html file is a perfect way for you to visually see what's going on versus just like a huge text. And sometimes I actually had I created like a little display of the different ways it should show me the HTML and different charts and all that kind of stuff. So when I do call that to tell me to create an HTML file, it'll do a better job of creating more visualizations versus just a lot of text heavy. I can't learn on text heavy, right? Text heavy stuff, you just kind of skim through it. You're like, yeah, it looks good, and then you just hit improve. But when you see it in like a nice little HTML document and when there's a lot of visuals, especially nowadays because AI is getting really good at showing you different visuals, .html, creating anything in HTML works better in MD as far as communication goes between the human and the computer, right? That's the gap here. The gap between you creating the perfect item that you want is understanding of what the computer is trying to do with the agent. The better you understand the computer, the better it understands you, the better that you can prompt it, the better it will create a product. And the gap between that is for you to figure out what's the best way you can communicate to your computer, to your agent, right? It's the best language. So HTML works really good because humans are visual. Maybe you like .md files, but you need to figure out what's your best way to communicate with it. So